this is a How to Human Couples Edition. I've been wanting to do this. You probably haven't heard the recent episodes, have you?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know they were up, to be honest.
I know you're a very busy, career-driven woman who works in corporate America and loves it. But as I've done the first half dozen of these How to Human episodes, and then I started implementing the short solo episodes, which I also wanted to do, this was a third segment style, variation of the show that I wanted to do, which was with you. Because
Thank you.
I know, right? You and I have some of the best conversations, and I have to keep reminding myself of any time that I do a podcast is that it's a product, right?
Right.
And it's funny because Chingo, for those of you that don't know, the other podcasts that I do are with Chingo Bling and his wife, and co-host, produce those, make clips and whatnot, and blast them out there. But he said that a couple times before too, like, we got to make sure that people like the product. Like if enough people don't like the product, then you got to change it, you got to do something or whatever. And then I saw an old episode of Rogan where he was getting upset at his former producer, and he was like, "You got to remember, Red Band, like, this is a product, man. People are listening." And it's so true, right? So the How to Human podcast, which, should we even say what the kids are going to be doing this summer, or just wait till we actually do it?
Well, I mean, now you done dangled the carrot out there. You might as well throw it out there.
Nah, I'm just going to keep it that way. But
sorry, guys.
Our kids our kids are very into YouTube and media, and they want to make their own stuff throughout the summer.
They want to be YouTubers.
They want to be YouTubers,
Yep.
and they want to create content, and they want to just be entertaining little humans. So we're going to help them do that this summer. So we'll talk about that once we actually that gets underway. And you guys can't even see what we're like our set, but our set is. Initially, it was we didn't know what we were going to do, but it just turned into what it is every evening, basically, which is just couch conversations with each other.
Yeah.
And we are on couches, which you can't really see mine, but you can see Don's. We're on separate couches. These mini couches are phenomenal.
They're fantastic. Best fucking $80 or whatever I spent on them. They're fantastic. I love them.
And I didn't say this either, but it's not that I'm trying to be super clean, but I am going to try to not swear.
Oh, sorry.
No, we didn't. This is how raw it is. Like, we didn't really discuss the format other than we wanted it to be more purpose-driven about life, certain aspects of life, work and career and goals. And then that way the audience that's listening can relate to my entrepreneurial type of projects and endeavors. And then those that are in the career-driven, corporate world can relate to yours.
Oh, so I got to put my corporate hat on. Okay.
Yeah, put your corporate hat on.
Okay,
so
got it.
Right now, boom, on, right?
It's on. Done.
And going back to it's a product, right? So I appreciate the people that have listened to the episodes that were interview style. I'm going to be doing more interviews. That's not going away. I like the short rant style. Not even rant, just short, very specific topic. Go deep on that one topic. Give as many insights and jewels that I possibly can. And then these long form episodes or other longer form episodes with you, half an hour or so, about whatever it is, right? It's entrepreneurial talk and business talk, career talk, leadership talk, fitness, basically health, wealth, and relationships. So I don't want to hog too much of the time, but you and I always talk about that stuff, right?
We do.
And what did we start today? And when I asked Dawn, I was like, what do you, and also for those that don't know, we had a podcast during the pandemic, during the lockdowns.
For those of you that don't know, I'm Dawn. Hi,
yeah, this is my wife, right? So terrible. I feel like most people that know you and I talking together know us from either Blondie and the Beard or just from the internet in general.
It's so funny when I'm doing these corporate meetings and I'm giving presentations in front of hundreds of people. Last week is over 500. So I'm like, and if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Dawn. I'm blah, 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 blah. Nice to meet you.
So when I asked Dawn when we came up, like, hey, what we got to think of it. What's the structure? What are the topics? And you said
health and wellness, right?
Yeah, but you gave specific ones.
Oh, yeah.
You're like turning 39.
Oh, yeah, turning 39, be in the best shape of our lives, right? At 34 and 39, guys, I am a cougar.
Yeah.
And starting this challenge, we're doing this 8-week challenge that we're trying to do, and just kind of getting our side hustles going.
Yeah,
we talked about that as well. So just all our things, all the things.
Trying to be super relatable to those listening. So if you're on a car ride, or you're on the elliptical, you're on the treadmill doing your workout, or you're on a walk outside, like we try to get our walks in. I hope that these episodes are just as entertaining and resourceful and informative for you, because we all take our corporate hats off. We take our work hats off at the end of the day, typically. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe less so. And if you're in high corporate America, probably also less so. But for most people listening, and you got a 9 to 5, like you take that hat off and you're like, okay, I want to go bowling now. I want to go to the gun range. I want to go.
The basketball player we were talking about the other day.
Oh, yeah, the Joker. Jokic.
Yeah, and the thing that he said, if you like your everyday job, you're joking yourself.
lying.
You're lying.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I got other things that I like. This is a professional NBA player. He's like, no, I don't want to go to the parade. No, I can't go. I'm going home.
He's like, when do we go? What? I don't know where he's from. I imagine somewhere in, Europe.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? It's Friday. I got to go Thursday. No, I don't want to.
Yeah. He's like, but if you like your everyday job, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, I got all these other side things. And, that's something that we've talked about. Like, I think you asked me the other day something, it triggered me in a way, and I hate that word triggered, but in a way you're like, hey, do you feel like you have the skill set to make F you money?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got offended, right? So I was like, oh, why? And what? And then I realized, today, that was yesterday. So today I realized,
Right.
you know what? Hey, why did I get so upset? And it's like, you know what? I don't put forth the drive. I don't have the desire. Like right now, it's just not a priority for me, but I want it to be, right? It's not that I don't have the skill set to do it, but I got super offended. I was like, and what did I tell you? I was like, do you think I'm not doing enough?
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think I'm not doing enough? I work an 8 to 5 and then, whatever. And I'm like, but I'm not.
Yeah. And I love having these conversations with Dawn because like that will happen and honestly, I don't really care if I upset you in that sense because I always preface
really
it with, and this is exactly what I prefaced it
I don't
with
want
yesterday.
you to take this any type of way.
Yeah, I know. I said, and maybe you guys can relate, these are the conversations I have in my head every day with myself, to myself. What?
This cord is like going across my...
To myself, about myself, all day long, 7 days a week, 24/7. And it's like, do you have the skill? Like I tell myself, do I have the skill set to do X, Y, Z? And I don't ever get into specifics with like what I do, like,
No,
but
that's not important.
But it's not. But in order for it to be more relatable, I'll start talking more about it without naming like the people or companies that I work with. Excuse me. And so I just asked Don. I was like, "Hey, so do you think you have the skill set?" And I prefaced it with saying, because this is what I tell myself. I have these conversations so that I can hopefully like dig deeper into. If I say that I do, why do I? What evidence can I provide to show that I have either the entirety of it or some of the skill sets required to acquire not result, but to attain X, Y, Z. So I asked her that, something along those lines, and I could just immediately tell. And I knew this was going to happen. She was like, she just went from like the jovial, like we were hanging out. It was Friday morning. We were running some errands, just spending the morning together, and just like blank face. And I was like, I knew that was going to happen. And I was like, let's wait for the wave of what the, rebuttal is going to be. And it was that.
It took a whole day.
Yeah.
It took me a whole day. And then I realized, and I always do this, I come back and I'm like, you know what? Hey, man, it's not you, it's me. And I understand, like, hey, like your brain is completely wired different than mine. And
different.
And we know that. Like you're entrepreneur since you were like in the womb. I have been corporate. I love being a corporate bee. I will tell you that over and over. I love corporate America. I really do. But my side hustles and what I do outside of work is what keeps me motivated, right? I need that creative outlet because if not, I will work myself to death in that 8 to 5, 9 to 5, and I'll make it a 24-hour, So when you said that, I was like, man, am I not really like meeting the full potential of me? Like, do you feel like I'm not pulling my weight? And I'm like, duh, I am. I work hard. I work hard at what I do. I mean, and we'll get into that, right? Like how I've gone from 0 to 100. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
In my short 1-year stint at my new organization. So it's like, okay, what it really internalizing? Like, what really made you mad? And I was like, well, me, because I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? I've not felt well. Going into like mentally just not in there. And then I was like, you know what? Today I woke up. I was on a whole nother level of like motivation. And I needed that, right? I need you to push me, but I hate when you do. Like you're not. It's not even you're not nice. I tell you all the time, like be nice to me. It's not even you're not nice. You're just real.
I'm the nicest person ever.
You really are, but you're just real. And like a lot of people can't handle that part of Rob. Like, and you know what I mean? Like some people get super offended. Like, oh my God, he's so rude. And I'm just like, no, he's just real. Like you talk to me the same way you talk to your mom, your dad, anybody.
It's true.
You're Brooklyn, you're Weston,
Yep.
and you talk to everybody exact same. And you tell me that all the time. He's like, Dawn, I talk to you the same way that I talk to my mom, which you've clearly stated, I love my mom more than I love you. And I understand why. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you talk to everybody the same and it's like how it's received. And you don't mean any ill will by it. So all that to say, guys, like he's pretty awesome gem of a human.
I appreciate it. And I don't know what it is too in this medium of podcasting. Like, It is the best. It is the best source of information, the best source of entertainment for me, I should say. Preface that by saying for me. But the more people that discover it, the more they end up finding out the same thing. Like I've had some friends that just now in their 30s, like got hip to podcasts and are like, dude, found this show, found this person, this personality, this whatever.
Where you been?
Yeah, I know. And it's almost one of those things where like they didn't want to believe my enthusiasm for the medium of podcasting. And it's like with a lot of things, you have to just discover it yourself, right? Even when you're younger, like your parents gave you, like for the most part, probably good advice about stuff, and you just ignored them until it was time for you to grow up.
I do that with you all the time, and I know that's where you're going with this. Like, hey, why don't you listen to your husband? And it's like, well, And it would today, for instance, Rob and I are at the gym, right? We're going hardcore. We're doing this new challenge, and do you care if we say what it is?
No, let's do it. Yeah,
we're doing the Summer Shred 4.0 with Dana Lynn Bailey.
Love DLB.
Yeah. So I jumped on it. I was like, hey, you know what? I turned 39 in 2 days.
A week?
No, it's on Tuesday. Today's Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So on Tuesday, I turned 39, right? So I'm like, okay, fine. 8 weeks. It's until August 14th. Starts June 19th to August 14th. So it's 8 solid weeks of just transformation. Like whoever wins gets cash prize, cash money, and like $2,000 in supplements and other things that she supports. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I convinced myself to do it. And I was like, I haven't done a challenge. I love that. I'm super competitive. Rob was like, oh, I'll do it with you. And I'm like, no, I know you. You're not going to do it. And then today we actually took our progress pictures. We submitted them online. I mean, the real deal, right? So we're doing the first workout and we don't have to, we can do whatever we want. It's just based on transformation. So
8
pictures,
weeks.
8-week pictures before and after.
Not a weight challenge.
Not a weight challenge, nothing like that. So do whatever you want to eat, work out however you want to work out. Suggested that you do her workouts. So I'm day 2 in her workouts. Rob's day 1, and the first one today was like a HIIT and ab challenge. So if you don't know what HIIT is, it's high intensity
interval training. There
you go. And abs. So we're doing it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing the certain movement this way because my legs are sore."
We worked out yesterday.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, don't do them." Telling me, "Hey, don't do it. Just do regular squats." And I was like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "Dawn," and I could just see like that Rob face is like, "Listen to your husband." I was like, okay, fine. So I did. And I'm glad I did because at the end I was like dying. But that's the instance where it's like, hey, just do it. Just quit being a contrarian. Like quit being stubborn, which I am the most stubborn person in the world. But anyway, so really excited about this challenge. So, where we're starting, where we're ending. Like I've been in the best shape of my life. Like I did it post twins. It wasn't done correctly, I don't think. I damaged my metabolism, all my fault. I was unhappy. I was ripped. After twins. And now, I'm treating this as my fit to fat to fit, right? So now I'm like, I don't feel uncomfortable. I'm finally at the point where I'm comfortable in my own skin, but now I'm ready to see like, hey, let's get in the best shape of our lives. And what did you tell me today? Like, hey, you only have to do it once.
Yeah.
You only have to get fit once and then
that's it. Just maintain, right? And the same thing comes for wealth. And that's like my biggest thing for no other reason other than like, and I'm going to tie it all together. When it comes to money and being an entrepreneur and like doing your own thing, like there's a lot of perks that come with like making a ton of money, obviously. But for me, it's like the autonomy that it brings when you can provide the world or the market with enough of a skill set that the world says, I'm going to compensate you for your independent time, schedule, allocation of time, and allocation of how you work your schedule every day. And you're going to get to feed your family, feed yourself, put a roof over your head because of the things that you know how to do.
But
That's
you're also teaching other people.
Yeah, and in turn, like you get to teach the people that you work with, like how to improve things. So the whole thing is awesome, but the same thing ties together. Like you should, and I've heard several people, from your Alex Hermosis to your Russell Brunsons to maybe even Buffett say like you only need to get rich once.
100%.
That's it, right? You only need to get rich once. So if you're doing multiple things, 4, 5, 6 different things, like you only need one of them to pan out to a degree where you can just learn enough financial literacy to have that money reinvest in you and in itself, and then just you're good. Then you just kind of keep doing what you were doing. And funny enough, I want to get back to what we were talking about, but did you hear, I don't know if it was the most recent billion, mega jackpot winner, but I'm going to just for the sake of the story say that it was, because I've been seeing the reel on Instagram go around lately. I think it was $2 billion that he won.
Wow.
And after taxes and everything though, he was only left with $650 million.
Only.
I say only, right? $650 million. So the dude immediately, like, this guy had no money prior. Like he lived
cars and houses.
he bought a vintage Porsche. Good on him. Best cars in the world, Porsche in general. I think it was a $200,000 car. and then he bought a $25 million mansion next to like Jimmy Kimmel and Ariana Grande. This is what the Real said, so take that with a grain of salt. And then people are coming out of the woodwork. He's been trying to keep himself under wraps, so now he's got.
I'm trying to keep myself under wraps, but I bought a $25 million house. Cool.
So apparently for a while he had, right, and then he started buying more stuff. So now he's also, because of all the paparazzi that's following him around, he's got 24-hour security. So it's costing him $1 million a year.
So he's poor. He's back poor again. He's
gonna be
poor.
He's probably gonna be poor.
He can't afford to pay that electric bill, man.
Yeah, he's probably going to be poor before you know it. And I sent it to a buddy of mine. He's like, how? Like, why? And I was like, dude, it's not the money, it's the mindset.
What did I tell you the other day? I said, if we won the lottery, I would still work my corporate job. You're like, would you really? I was like, yeah, I would. And you're like, yeah, but you would go in and say, like, look, I really don't need to be here.
You need me more than I need you.
I mean, that's the case anyway. But I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a chauvinistic, hey, I'm better than you. But I mean, come on.
Yeah, at certain points too, like it's great when you have that kind of a leverage with either your corporate job or with a client if you're working, entrepreneurially, because like you just know that like, man, I offer so much value that we're gonna keep working together.
We're
like,
indispensable.
We need to keep the relationship going for both parties, which is a great thing to have. And I have that with at least one party where it's like, it's so, the synergy's so well, everything's going so well that like that's something you can count on, and then you just try to build on that and bring the same kind of value to other clients or whatever. But to go back to the original point, or the original topic was like health, which is so important. And you've been in the best shape of your life. You said I've been in fantastic shape. I'm 33. I'll be 34 in October, and it's probably been since like my mid-20s, early to mid-20s, where I could say like I was in fantastic shape.
You mean right before we met?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. We met and then we just got fat.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Hey, but to be fair, the world stopped. The world nearly came to an end.
Yeah.
You and I, and just to preface, guys, Rob and I have been through probably every major life change, including a pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Work hat. What did you call it? Your corporate hat?
Corporate hat. Yeah, I'm trying to. Sorry,
yeah, it's all right.
It's like I'm talking to the kids, but I gotta put a little filter on it, guys. I have a potty mouth.
So do I, but trying to make a good product here.
Yeah. So we've been through every major life change. You and I have moved in the 7 years we've been together probably 4 times. Big major moves. This one, most recent one, was huge.
Yeah.
Both losing our jobs around the same time. I mean, we pretty much. We're working odd and end jobs just to keep our, food on the table kind of thing. Like it's real. It's been real. Like this relationship has been real and it's been raw, but it's just been like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, we let ourselves go a little bit. We might have drank a little too much. We might have ate our feelings.
Yeah.
But now we're like at a it's not even a plateau. I don't even want to call it, but it's just like calm. Like it's not chaos. And I'm like, we can focus on things like dropping a few pounds.
Yeah, and that's also putting it lightly too, because outside of like work, we also have personal lives, and that isn't necessarily less chaotic. Like there's a lot of things we probably won't get into in this episode, but we might in others where we can say, when you have a co-parenting life, that brings its own obstacles, which I know a lot of people that listen from other shows can relate. And it's just like you're just navigating all these waters. And to go back to what you said,
that you don't have control over either.
Right. And you really don't have control over a lot of things.
No. And focus on the things you can control, which is like in the moment at the time. Can't focus on the past, can't focus on the future. Like right now I can focus on.
And you can't focus on other people's actions.
100%.
And this is a lot of these conversations that Don and I have. We'll make a tea or a nice lemonade or a whatever to round out the evening. What's the tea that like really puts you mellow that we used to drink regularly that we'll probably start drinking again? Is it
the chamomile?
Chamomile, right?
Yeah.
Chamomile.
Chamomile.
Chamomile and honey, right? Or whatever to kind of round out the evening. And
it's like spearmint and chamomile.
So good. You put you in a good like right before bed. But we'll have these conversations just like this, and I love just philosophizing, even if it's with myself or when I'm in the car and I know, right, the dust just flew up.
It's not even dust, it's like a piece of fuzz. I can just see it.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, you'll see it.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I like talking about this stuff, even if other people are like, oh, this is such pie in the sky kind of conversation. But no, like, I think a lot of people listening can relate to how so many things are out of your control. Yeah. And I'm of the mind that I want to try to just figure out the path. We'll just figure out the path of, and humans are like this. Like, we all want the path of least resistance. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a lot of the paths they're all filled with resistance of some sort. And you have to find the one that just gets you to whatever result you need most efficiently. And a lot of the times it's not good. It's not enjoyable, I should say. If good or bad, that's on the person
Relative,
to decide. It's all relative, right, to the situation. But
what's the book we read on resistance?
The War of Art.
Oh, man.
It's a great book.
So good.
I'm going to reread it again. I've probably read it a dozen times.
Yeah, highly recommend. I recommended it to so many people, like talking about resistance.
Was that your first time reading it?
It was, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, man. It's so funny, like the books that you and I will recommend to each other and we'll read. Like you were talking about the Og Mandino book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. And I was like, I already read it. I read it so many years ago.
Yeah.
And you were like, really? And I'm like, yeah. It's fantastic.
So funny.
And it's just so funny how like we'll recommend books like that to each other. Like you recommended the War of Art, but you also recommended the another book that I read and it was super fantastic. I can't remember. It had a number in it. Like
$100 million offers?
No, 8 essential things or something. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, that one.
Okay, sorry, I forgot the name of the book. I've been lucky to where, because of what I do right now, I say lucky. I have to drive to Houston, so we're in Central Texas. We were living in Houston for majority of our lives. I was, at least, for my entire life.
We moved to the hill country.
Yeah, we moved to the hill country area, and I still drive back on a weekly basis, which isn't too bad. It's only like 2.5 hours. And I'll get to knock out some books, and that's been the best part of it all, because a lot of these books I was trying to read when I was trying to start my first actual brick and mortar business. And you're young, you're blowing and going, you're doing stuff, you're so busy, you just never can, even now, like it's so hard to sit and read a physical book and turn the page and highlight.
Oh no,
I just can't do it.
Audiobooks,
but I want to consume the information, so I try my best to listen to the book and then use apps like Shortform to like make note cards and just really retain the knowledge, right? But the point of it is that I've gone back to books that I just got Spark Notes for in my 20s,
yeah, right.
And actually read them and understand. And it's been so crazy because a lot of the concepts that I took in those Spark Notes and I implemented in my life in my 20s, now in my 30s, I'm like, man, I wish I had read the full book. I wish I had understood the full concepts. I wish I could have implemented what it was trying to teach you. But hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, so like you have an Audible account, obviously I do too, and it prior to the job that I have now, I was able to read 4 or 5 books a month. It was, and I say read, I mean listen. It was audio.
I still call that reading. I don't care.
Consume.
It's still read.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not gonna say I consumed a book. Person be like, "What are you talking
eating
about?"
it? Are you eating the pages?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I read a book,
Yeah.
so I would read 4 or 5 pages. 4 or 5 books a month. Now it's like I'm lucky if I get to do one, every couple of months, with that. But the other book, Everything's Figure Outable, you were saying something about that. I was like, oh yeah, I heard that too. Like, there's so many different good books and good reads that I'd love to be able to. We should get a affiliate.
We should with Audible.
Yeah, so we could tell people about the books that we've read and the fantasticness. But anyway, back to our challenge. Rob and I are doing the 8-week challenge. We're really super excited. I encourage all of you to do it too. I mean, sign up. It literally doesn't.
It starts on the 19th though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully, jump in if you can. If this drops,
you'll have a day. You'll have like literally today is the 17th.
Yeah.
It'll drop on the 17th, and if you guys listen to it, you'll have 2 days, day and a half.
2 days. Go sign up. And it's literally just signing up for her app, submitting your pictures. It's completely no cost to you except for that app a month, which is like $15. If you pay for the year, it's $8.99 a month.
But the bigger picture is that it's Miss Olympia. It's DLB.
It's DLB. But the biggest picture and the biggest thing to take away from it is it's not. It's a lifestyle change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I try to tell everybody, guys, and if you don't know, I've been a nutritionist for 10 plus years. And I love it. It's probably, if I could just pick a job outside of corporate job that I do, it would be health and wellness and teaching people how to make lifestyle changes.
People might wonder, how does a nutritionist get out of shape? Life happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, seriously. And how can I convince other people or even teach other people about lifestyle changes if I'm not in the best shape of my life either?
Yeah.
So, that's been... And I'm open and honest with my clients. Like, hey, look, I've been there. I've done that. Fit to fat to fit. I put out the pictures. Like, hey, I was a bodybuilder, right? I did bodybuilding competitions, bikini. Let's be real. And then had twins and did all the things. But it's just like, make a lifestyle change. Do it different. God, you get one
doable.
shot. You get one shot at this life, right? We're living in this crazy world. We're like a single little fleck on this big rock floating through the earth. I hate to get into that, but
no, I think about that every day.
I'm a biologist. On top of, hey guys, I'm also a scientist.
Yeah.
But it's just like you get one shot at this life, and you're doing what? What are you doing with it? What do you prove? What do you got to show for it? Like, we were talking the other day, like, what are we doing? And it's like, hey, we're trying to leave our kids in a better position than what we're in, right? So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. That's our goals. So,
And that's most parents' goal, right? Which is an admirable goal. It's a great goal, I think. But because of I guess the opportunities that we've had already in our life. And most people, if you're listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube on your iPhone 14 or 13 or a recent one, or your iPad, or on your dual monitor setup, or your 75-inch TV, you're probably okay off to where you're able to provide your kids with enough material things that they're not going to really know what it was like to struggle like you and I knew what it was like to struggle. And maybe a lot of you listening, I'm sure, it's been rough, right? Like you can remember having no central air and lucky to have an AC unit in the window, if that, in 112-degree weather.
We had a water cooler. You even know what that is?
Where you put ice in the cooler and
it was
put
not
a fan?
Even ice. It was like it looked like an air conditioner. Like you would think it was an air conditioner. You just put water in it and then it would cool. They'll take the water and cool it through. And I grew up in, the Central Texas area with no AC. I didn't have air conditioning until my freshman year in high school. So.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. My point of that was that we're going to be able to provide enough for them if things just even maintain the way they are, so where they don't have to worry about stuff. But we're trying to teach them the lessons of life.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all these people well, hey, cool, I know, there's this and this, but I don't know how to do my taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, balance.
You can't say, I knew you were going to say
I would say balance a checkbook, but that really dates me. But you know what I mean?
Just financial literacy in general.
Yeah, financial literacy in general. Things like that. Okay, what's going on? Don't teach me. Don't put the alphabet in my math. I'm not going to use it unless I'm a mathematician.
Yeah, and for those of you that weren't into media when you were younger, since I've discovered podcasting, which was 2021, I've loved the medium of podcasting, media altogether. My
2021?
When I was 21.
Oh, I thought you said.
No.
I thought you meant in 2021. I was like, but that's very confusing.
I've been podcasting for over a decade now.
2012.
Yeah, 2012 ish. And even before that, Instagram and social wasn't really as big as it is now. Video was not nearly as big. YouTube was only 5 or 6-ish years old. But for me, I love the medium of media. That's why Rob GTV all across the internet is what my handle is. But what I was going to say is that now, I'm just obsessed with the twins and their development. The entrepreneurship stuff that I do is just helping other businesses scale or put the missing puzzle piece of their business for a certain aspect. And there aren't very many things that I'm really obsessed with. It's podcasting, it's the kids, us, right? Family, probably all obsessed with our families. And then the growth of other businesses, and in turn, the growth of my little, what do you call it? Media / consulting business or whatever. And then that's it. So earlier you were saying, we have one shot. We say that all the time. When I get up, there's a lot of times where when I'm going to bed, I can't wait to get up, have my coffee, and then just pound away at the keys on my keyboard to just figure out the next thing or work on the next thing. And I hope that a lot of people listening can get to that point where they're also that excited to wake up. But honestly, if we're being honest with ourselves,
well, I hope they're excited to wake up. But yes,
a lot of people aren't.
To get up and go. It baffles me the amount of people that legit hate what they do. They wake up and they're like, oh, they talk about, I don't know if you've heard this in corporate, it's called the Sunday scaries.
No.
Where you're literally like, oh man, it's Sunday, tomorrow I got to get up and I got to work and I do the grind. And it's just
that sounds like life for most people.
Yeah, but why? It doesn't have to be that way. I'm not saying everyone has a skill set, but they do. Find something that you're good at and find out how to make money at it, and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know who said it, but that's true, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I spent 20 years of my life being an administrative assistant, right? And then
a high-level administrative assistant.
High level, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it since I was 14. I'm definitely older. It's whatever. I literally got my first job as a secretary when I was 14 at the Texas A&M University. It's a crazy story. We'll go into it one day, but I just did it, and I over and over and over, and I was an admin for years and years and years till I wasn't. And it's what skill set? And my thing is teaching people what, I'm just a secretary, but you're not. You have these skills and these skills and these skills, which translate over to other, mediums of work and things. You're not just a secretary. I hate people that say oh, I'm just this, but you're also this, and this. It's how you reframe it. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I also like doing this So the How to Human podcast is essentially my show, but I have these segments, like I said, the solo stuff, the interview stuff, and then what I'm calling it, well, I just thought of it like Couples Edition, like How to Human Couples Edition. I might put like a pink or purple like big couple banner in front of the logo when I upload this episode.
Pink or purple?
Come on.
Pink is my favorite color.
Yeah, exactly. Your headphones are pink.
Can we do pink and blue?
Sure.
Yeah, those are our colors.
Yeah, that was our Blondie and the Beard color, which was the old podcast during the pandemic. But
still listen to it if you want.
Nah, I don't think so.
Just kidding. Never mind. Don't listen.
I don't know why I mentioned that, but just, yeah. What were you just saying about, we talked about doing, which we still want to do, like a newsletter of sorts.
Yeah, guys, for sure.
To build an audience, and then the podcast would help also feed that audience because, like, there's a lot, like Don's not even a fraction of the amount of time that I spend consuming content. Could I say Don does the same just because you're so busy with work?
Yeah.
So whether it's books, podcasts, or just reels, shorts, videos, long form, there's no way Don consumes long form YouTube videos because she can barely consume a full reel without swiping to the next one.
Oh, it's hard. You know what gets me though?
What?
Those those Facebook ones. I'm recently back on Facebook, and the Facebook, like the videos that take like 10 minutes to get to the point, and I'm like, I don't know why they suck me in, and I can actually pay attention to
That's weird. The same thing as reels. They're just basically reels repurposed.
That's so weird.
Anyway.
What's that go?
So I'm very passionate for whatever reason. I honestly don't know because I dislike most people. Most people that...
That's not true. That's not true.
No, listen, I love people, which is why the show's, How to Human. I love working with people, but I dislike so many people, the aspects of certain elements of them, I will say.
There you go. Okay.
Right?
You dislike the actions of people and their intentions, but not necessarily people. You're not like, oh, I just really don't like that person.
Well, some,
keep going.
For sure, some. But like, I want to be able to like give some of this information, or even if it's just like, even if you can't utilize the same like tactic to like scale a Shopify store or create a podcast or whatever, right? Or market or write copy for a product or whatever, or write a good email, it doesn't matter. The conversations that I could have with you or a guest should like unlock some kind of doors in your brain to be like, oh, you know what? That's a really good topic, or that's a really good subject, or that was a really good point. I'm going to take that nugget that Rob said, and I'm going to go search it. I'm going to go put it in ChatGPT. I'm going to go Google it. I'm going to go do whatever, because that really rung true with me or struck a chord. And that's all I can do, because a lot of the things I think about, there's so many thoughts racing through my head. Like, I feel like to a degree, I might know what Elon Musk talks about when he's like, you don't want to be in my head.
I don't want to be in your head.
I don't want to be in my head sometimes, but it's all like just trying to do so much so often that it's just like, I'm surprised I haven't blown the fuse.
I think sometimes you do, just like...
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think the podcast is very beneficial. The newsletters.
I can't wait to do the newsletter. It's going to be really, really, really a lot of fun. I can't wait to capture everything that's in your brain and in my brain. Like, we can offer to the world. Like,
and it's hard for me to put on paper. It's hard for me to get out sometimes because there's so many different ideas. But you're really good. That's why, like, it's like the yin and the yang. It's like the Alex and Layla Hermosi. Like, you're really good at, like, taking notes. You're really good at, like, the structure of what...
I'm literally trying to tell this guy the other day how to, like, structure his day. He's like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, but that's how you're going to get it done. You're literally like, hey, that's not going to work for me. I'm like, you're not even trying, Rob.
This was my day. This is how I lay out my day for the most part, is I open up a Google Doc on one monitor, and I just go, like, let's just say that we're up usually around 6:30, 7...
5:15, my alarm goes off.
The alarm goes off, but you're not up. Regardless, we're not going to get into semantics. Let's just say that we're both up and at our computers by 7.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
So I'll be like, okay, 7 to 9, this work for this client. 9 to 10, and I'll just put it in bold, like 57 font, like 9 to 7, or 7 to 9, and then 10 to 11.
Anxiety, you talking about
and this. Then lunch, and then gym, right? And it'll be like 2 to 1, and then 3 to 4, and then like 5 to whatever. And then I even have like 7, or I'll have like 6 to 9 or 5 to 9 with the other work I'm going to do as we watch the Astros game, like literally. And wait.
I'm listening.
Hold your thought. And then I told that to her, and she was like, do you ever use Google Calendar? And I was like, no, I don't really, it's different because you have all these meetings and calls and you're doing presentations or whatever. And it's like a pretty calendar. And I'm like, I have like 7 lines with like 2 or so hours in every block. And then maybe like a break here for like a fortnight round, or just like a quiet session where I'm like just zoning out and relaxing.
And then you hear your wife go, ding dong.
Exactly. We'll come upstairs, ding dong. And that was how I scheduled my day. And you're like, no, that's
But you
all
can do
wrong.
it so much better. So literally, I'm like, okay, look, your calendar. You can put everything that you've just said into a calendar. It'll give you a 15-minute reminder that hey, you're going to do this, and it can structure it, and you can cross it out, and you can use. Yeah, he's falling asleep, but I'm like, I look at what he's
And I know
doing.
that's efficient. I know that's more effective.
But I honestly, there's nothing more satisfying than crossing something off a list.
I agree. I highlight it in gray, and I know it's out. It's done.
You can also highlight it and put like a strike through line through it.
I can do that, yeah.
Okay,
but
yeah.
for what? I know that's done. What cares what's...
Or a checkbox ding. Like there's a
That's why I like Apple Notes.
well, same with Microsoft. Microsoft To Do, you can like put a list in there, and when you check it off, it goes ding. That is gratifying. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm organization queen. It may not seem that way like in my home life, but like at work, I have to be, right? If I'm not structured and organized, then it's just mass chaos because I have an email coming through. I'm working on something. Like I'm constantly pulled in a million directions. So it's like when I see that, I'm like, Rob, I can help you.
You can.
Let me
And this is
help.
what I
and
said.
He literally said, hey, of all the things that you can help me with, that's not the thing I want help with.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. Because
Did
this
you
is
like how I said that? How you said
what do I say? Well, I'm not
How do you sound-
monotone.
You sound
and-
high.
No, I'm not monotone by any means. I'm very
You're very
articulate.
animated. I literally tell you all the time, like, why are you being so animated? Stop.
I'm going to just be myself. So these episodes, I want to keep them to about 30 to 40 minutes
Oh, well,
because
sorry.
no, we're at 36 minutes, I believe, if I'm looking at it upside down.
It says 36:25.
Good.
26,
So
27.
the reason for that is that I found out that is about the typical commute for most people, and most people listen to their podcast on a
cool.
drive.
Makes sense.
So their average drive to work or just average drive are about 30 to 40 minutes. But this will just be like Couples Edition 1, right? Or, How to Human Couples 1. And we're probably I need more lemonade because we just worked out in 112 degree. What was it? Like 96, but it felt like 112.
109, yeah.
109?
Whatever. Yeah, same difference.
I thought it was great. I did feel a little lightheaded at the end.
I was not okay.
Yeah. So I want to dig deeper into some of these subjects. This was like a really good, just overarching introduction
A lot of
to
people that don't know me, that don't know us together as a couple, doesn't know our playful banter, what we're capable of. Like we're like the dream team.
yeah.
Cheers
It's lemonade.
to lemonade.
HEB lemonade,
Dude,
for the win.
The sugar-free
The
kind,
sugar,
though.
obviously the
And then
sugar-free one.
add a little bit of the Tehuacan, the sparkling
The
water.
mineral water.
Actually, no, it's not. It's the HEB brand.
This time it is, yeah.
Sorry, guys. A little bit of the sparkling water to the lemonade makes it like a little refresher.
Yeah.
So amazing.
So stay tuned for more episodes and more of these. What do we call them? They're not. I guess they are episodes, but
Yeah.
segments,
Segments.
formats of the show. That's what it is. This is this format of How to Human with Couples Edition. Don and I.
And with knowing this, guys, and knowing how this is going to be laid out, with the couples, like, what do you want to hear about? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to? We're health, wealth, relationships. You're talking about our challenge. We're talking about our careers. How you're an entrepreneur. I'm a corporate, junkie. The relationship that we have together. How we make that work. And we're also parents. So
Yeah.
like, what do you want to hear about?
Yeah, what do you want to hear about? Because what we want to talk about for sure is all of the kind of like ins and outs of how you operate within a 24-hour period of you're an entrepreneur, you're setting out your day, you've got this to go knock out for this client, you got that to knock out for that client, maybe you want to build out a different part of your, whatever your gig or your job or your thing that you're doing is, and then your wife and or husband or whatever the dynamic is the corporate breadwinner, and they go make their money working for corporate America, or they're climbing the ladder, or
They're trying to climb the ladder.
or they're already they're trying to, or they're trying to break through, or they're already up there. And the dynamic is you make good money doing your own thing, I make good money working in the corporate world, and we come together and we have a bunch of different insights that we can provide. So that's what we want to do.
Yep.
There is a link in the description of this show, whether you're listening on iTunes, if it's on YouTube that you watched all the way through, kudos to you, or Spotify, wherever you listen to this, there is a link to the How to Human newsletter. Just click that link and put in your email, and it's going to take you to my MailChimp, or our MailChimp essentially for the podcast newsletter audience. You can enter it there, name, email, and then I believe it takes you to my Instagram. You don't have to follow me, but if you want to, at RobGTV, I'll put Don's info. Actually, no, because it's just private. Unless you're going to manning your health, are you still going to do that for clients?
Sure, throw it in there. Yeah, we'll do my nutrition page.
Nutrition page, and then professional resume writing. Also, this is what you do. A bunch of stuff. I genuinely mean this. I love picking your brain about the way you structure your corporate day and all of your corporate meetings and all of your corporate just analyzation, because it helps tie some, like I can pull some of those into my chaos of entrepreneurship,
Of craziness.
because I like structure. So, and I'll leave you with this personally, and I'll give you the final word. But I read a book by Dan Martell called How to Buy Your Time Back. And for any entrepreneur, any person in general, I believe this is one of the best books I've ever read. And it's not like a revolutionary idea, but he really does break down like how to structure your day by delegating things that you know that you shouldn't be doing. And he puts like a $1 sign, $2 sign, 3, 4. I forgot the format. I'm still going through it myself. And then the ones that are like ones and twos, like you figure out how to delegate it. And he gives you the formula for how many hours there are. And you know this formula, like how many work hours. What is it? Is it 2,000 something? It's like
2080.
2080? Mm-hmm. So you take the 2080, right? And then you multiply that by like whatever your salary is.
If you multiply your dollar rate times 2080, it gives you your salary.
Right. But then you take that and you multiply it by, and this is where you'd have to read the book to see how much what you do, brings and what value you would apply to it. And then you're like, okay, boom, I can allocate $10.50 for these things to get done, whether it's admin or whatever, or boom, I can allocate, $15 an hour to a digital assistant or whatever. And then essentially you're just buying that time back so then you can do the the things that bring you more revenue or give you more time, even just in general, because you want to go fishing with your wife, or do whatever. Spend time with your kids, whatever it is, whatever's going to bring you fulfillment. So that's one of the good books that I highly recommend. Dan Martell, How to Buy Your Time Back, and that's what talking to you sometimes helps me do, because it brings some of that structure and some of that like, okay, let's be a little more tactful, not even grounded, maybe grounded, but a little more tactful on how I approach this day or this project, so that I'm not spread thin and then not all over the place also. And it gets done on time, as needed, and then on to the next thing, because it can turn into chaos really quick.
Yep. It's like, oh my gosh. So at my job, I'm known for what's called Dawnisms. And those are, like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Like, basically, like, this is not my thing. This is on someone else. I'm not going to get involved and get my hands in. So I had a guy tell me the other day, he was like, it's like wrangling a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And I had to sit back and think about that for a minute. I was like, I'm stealing that. Like, think about it. There's a ton of rocking chairs, and then you have this cat with this super long tail. And I imagine like that cartoon, the cheetah guy with the long tail, and he's running around and his tail's getting caught in all these rocking chairs, and they're like moving and shaking, and you can't get anything done. It's just hilarious. So that's what I'm picturing. So I say it all the time. Like, I'm like, you know what, Jeff? That was amazing. Thank you so much for that. Because I say, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not me.
Yeah. Sometimes those problems aren't your.
Yeah. And the things that I say, like, everyone's like, Dawn, that's fantastic. I'm like, I do what I can.
That's funny.
I have the craziest little sayings all the time. So, hey,
well, I appreciate you wanting to do that. But you were super excited. Like, I knew when I mentioned it. But, there are certain things that, like, I don't know how like corporate America works, so everybody's out to like cancel people these days, which, people could follow you on LinkedIn and know what you do. That's why I want to keep this as appropriate and like just very, very professional.
Even though I'm in a make it happen in a messy bun, I'm pretty professional.
But you're making it happen and professional.
My tattoos hanging out.
That's
Whatever.
all good. That's fine.
It's 2023. Open your minds, guys.
Yeah, for real. But that's it. So I hope you guys have a good weekend, or whenever you're listening to this, have a good day.
Sign up for the challenge. Do it with us. Hey, and if you do, let us know, and we'll do this together. Like, I'm super excited.
Where can I find? Is it DLB's website?
They can go to literally, guys. Google DLB summer shreds. Yeah, summer shreds, and it'll take you to the how to do it and everything like that. But yeah, I'm really excited, Rob, that you're doing it with me. Like, we haven't done a challenge ever together
like this. No.
Like official challenge. So I'm super excited. I'm excited to see where we go. You and I are crutches for each other, but we're also motivators for each other. So our like little, what is it called? Our
Dynamic?
safe word is like, hey, whatever the amount is, it's like 8K, right? So we're like 8,000. So when I want to eat like a cheeseburger and french fries, he's gonna be like, hey, 8,000. But also, guys, like,
I just want to win.
You can also eat a cheeseburger and french fries.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you want to know how, hit me up, mendingyourhealth.com. I'm all about eating foods that you still like and having fun with it. So taking the foods that you eat every day, making them manageable, making it good. So it's not about come on.
Leave a rating or review on the podcast if you like this. Share it with a friend. Hit that share icon wherever what platform you are. Send it to a friend. Send it to an email. Send it to somebody's DM. Send it to somebody's phone number, whatever. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Adios.
Thanks, love.
Bye.
Now somebody's got to hit stop.
Ugh, my legs hurt so bad. You got to leave this part in. It's like, okay, now that we're done, we're both so sore. It's like, hold on.
Tough workout today.